It sits at 13,000 feet, carved directly into a massive wall of red sandstone. A perfect 7-meter square, with a mysterious T-shaped alcove at its center. To the locals, it is the Porto de Hayu Marcatha, Gate of the Gods. To the internet, it is real-world evidence of a functional stargate. The similarities are unnerving. A stone interface, a legend of a golden key, and a priest who allegedly walked through solid rock and never returned. Is this an ancient teleportation device left dormant in the Andes? Or is it simply a quarry that ran out of funding? Today, we are initiating a full expedition into the anomaly. Located near the shores of Lake Titicaca, the Aramu Moru site has become a ground zero for one of the most persistent archaeological conspiracy theories of the last 20 years. The narrative is seductive. It bridges the gap between verified Inca history and the speculative fiction we see in shows like Stargate, SG-1, or Atlantis. But unlike the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, this gate is open to the public. You can touch it. You can kneel before it. And if you believe the reports, you can feel it humming. The official archaeological record calls it an unfinished construction project. The alternative history community calls it an interdimensional portal, active for thousands of years. Today, we are going to dismantle the myth and rebuild the history. We will look at the geological data, the specific Inca legends, and the modern origins of the Stargate theory. We are going to find out if the ancients left the lights on, or if we are just staring at a wall. Let's start with the physical reality. Aramu Moru is a petroglyph-style carving located in the Forest of Spirits, a region known for strange rock formations. The structure itself is undeniably precise. It measures exactly 7 meters by 7 meters. At the center is a trapezoidal recess. It is roughly 6 feet, 6 inches tall, human height. This is the door. In the center of that door is a smaller depression, often cited as the interface for a triggering mechanism. Archaeologically, this fits the pattern-off Titicaca culture architecture. The trapezoidal shape is a hallmark of Inca design. We see it in doorways at Machu Picchu, Ollantaytambo. It represents stability and seismic resistance. But here, the doorway leads nowhere. It is carved into a solid outcrop of bedrock. This is where the unfinished theory gains traction. The site shows clear tool marks, consistent with Inca stone masonry using harder river stones to pound and grind the sandstone into shape. The surrounding area is littered with what looks like construction debris. This suggests that work here stopped abruptly. Why? The leading academic theory is the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors. When the invasion began, construction projects across the empire were abandoned as the workforce fled or was repurposed for war. So physically, we have a blind door, a false facade. But in the context of Inca spirituality, a blind door wasn't always a mistake. It was often a waka sacred spot where the veil between worlds was thin. This wasn't a door for the body, it was a door for the soul. This is where the history ends and the canon begins to diverge. The primary myth fueling the Aramu Moru popularity doesn't come from ancient texts, but from a specific legend regarding a priest named, you guessed, Aramu Moru. According to the legend, Aramu Moru was a priest of the 7 rays. When the conquistadors arrived to loot the temples, he took a sacred golden disc, the key of the gods of the 7 rays, and fold from the Temple of the Sun in Cusco. He traveled south, hiding in the mountains of Hayu Marcatha. The legend states that he approached the doorway, which was guarded by shaman priests. He presented the golden disc. The story claims the disc interacted with the rock. The solid stone shimmered and turned into a tunnel of blue light. Aramu Moru handed's disc to the waiting shaman for safekeeping, stepped through the portal, and vanished. He was never seen again. Does that sound familiar? It should. It is essentially the plot of the Stargate movie. A device is used to activate a dormant transport mechanism, allowing a traveler to escape an encroaching military threat. It is important to note that while the oral traditions of the region do speak of spirit doors, the specific narrative of Aramu Maru and the Golden Disc was heavily popularized in the 1990s by author Jerry Wills, and later by the mystic Hunt Williamson, much like the expanded dunivs of a comic book retconning a show's finale. These modern interpretations added a layer of sci-fi technology to indigenous spiritual beliefs. They took the concept of a waka and upgraded it to a wormhole. Let's look at the mechanics proposed by the theory. In the show, Stargate SG-1, a distinct power source, AZPM or ADHD, is required to establish a stable wormhole. The conspiracy theory posits that the circular depression in the Aramu Maru door is a docking port for a piece of ancient technology. The Golden Disc. This mirrors control, crystal, or touchstone tropes we see in sci-fi. The theory suggests the site sits on a major leyline energy grid similar to the gate network concept. Proponents claim the red sandstone contains high concentrations of quartz and silica, making it a natural conductor for electromagnetic energy. Is there science to back this? Sandstone does contain quartz, and under pressure, quartz exhibits piezoelectric properties, generates a charge. However, the amount of energy required to rip a hole in spacetime is, to put it mildly, astronomical. You would need more than a rock with high silica content. You would need a singularity, or at the very least, a Naquadah generator. Yet, the anecdotal evidence persists. Visitors report vivid dreams, hallucinations, and the sensation of a hum when placing their forehead against the stone. Is this the residual energy of an ancient device? If we turn off the sci-fi filter and look at the site through the lens of history, the story is less about aliens and more about human resilience. The Titicaca Basin was home to the Tiahuanaco civilization long before the Inca. They were master masons. They cut stone with a precision that Westall struggled to replicate without diamond saws. We know they built spirit doors. These were not meant for physical travel. They were liturgical focus points. They were altars. The tragedy of Aramu Maru is not that the gate closed, but that the culture building it was interrupted. The unfinished nature of the site is a snapshot of a civilization in crisis. When the Spanish arrived, the Inca Empire collapsed. The Masons dropped their tools, the knowledge of how they cut these stones. Perhaps the rituals intended to be performed here was lost. It's a cliffhanger, a pause button pressed for 500 years. The story was supposed to continue, but the production was cancelled. So, where riddles this, leave the canon. Is Aramu Maru a defunct Stargate waiting for a golden disc? Probably not. The evidence points to an unfinished religious shrine, abandoned during the collapse of the Inca Empire, but that doesn't make it less important. It is a monument to what could have been, a testament to human engineering and spiritual ambition. We want it to be a portal because we want there to be more to the world than what we can see. We want the ancients to be real. We want a way off this rock. But sometimes, a door is just a door. Even if it doesn't open, what do you think? Is this just a slab of sandstone, or did we lose the DHD? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love deep dives into the intersection of ancient history and sci-fi lore, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an expedition.